To both of our chairmen, and I am going to express my concern, as some others have, that this is our 5th hearing. I think we have 19 work days, or the House members. I don't know what the Senate's going to be doing work-wise, but all of us together. And for me, failure's not an option. I don't think failure should not be an option for any of us on this committee. And I hope we are going to get together. This hearing is to hear from the stakeholders, but I have been hearing from the stakeholders every single day. And I have stories of, some of the members have heard me talk about this. A man came to me during the district work period and said he wanted to put a gun to his head. He didn't want to live because he didn't know what his options were. The desperation of family after family, I see them every weekend. They come to my front door at home, and now they're coming and talking to me from across the country because they think I'll listen, and I will. I'll never turn anybody away. So I get pretty mad today, Mr. Naughton, when you make it sound like, whether you meant it to sound like this or not, you made it sound like the employees were somehow to blame, or that people weren't collecting enough. There were a lot of assumptions made on pensions. I think one of the things that we have to study in this committee is how do we strengthen pension laws. I remember, many of my colleagues talk about previous bailouts. There were Republicans and Democrats that didn't want to bail out the auto industry, but if the auto industry had not gotten support and loans that were paid back, the entire economy of these United States would have collapsed. And that was why people who didn't even want to ever do something like that did. And we are talking about what will happen to the economy, what will happen to communities, and what will happen to human beings across this country if we don't address this problem. Because of this, I want to just ask Mr. Stribling questions first so we can be very clear for everybody in this room. Senator Hodekamp started down this way. But have you made any investment decisions for the plan in which you participate?
Absolutely not.
Did you make any of the decisions about the amount of contributions that employers make or negotiate any withdrawal liability from employers leaving the plan?
Absolutely not.
As a multi-employer pension plan participant, are you simply informed of these decisions by the trustees of the fund?
No, I am not.
You're not even informed?
I'm not informed.
So is there anything you could do as a participant in a multi-employer plan to right the course of your pension plan?
No, there is not.
Is it correct to say the current state of these plans is not your fault?
Absolutely.
When your union negotiated on your behalf, is it your understanding that you said, and we talked about this, but I don't think people understand. How many people do you know gave up pay raises, sacrificed compensation increases at the time because of the promise of a safe and secure retirement? Did you?
Yes, I did.
And do many of your colleagues do the same thing?
Absolutely.
So when we have testimony in this room that makes it in a very callous way sound like people had something to do and it's people's, the people that are being impacted by this across the country, by the way, it's not, some of us have states that are more impacted than others. We have to, what is our human responsibility to people across the country? Mr. Lynch, I want to come back to you. If I pick up one theme in your testimony, it's simply that Congress must act now. You stated that action is necessary sooner rather than later. Why do you believe that to be true? And do you believe that the cost of a solution will only go up if the committee fails to act, and what the cost is if we don't act?
The cost will absolutely go up. There's no, at least in my mind, there's just no question about that. You have an opportunity now, if you can get yourselves to a position where there's an agreement on some kind of infusion of cash. You have a plan like Central States that can then use those funds, pay back the loan, but they can use those funds in order to generate the investment income that keeps them alive and not go into insolvency.
Mr. Chairman, I'm almost out of time, so I'm simply going to state again, failure is not an option. We have a moral responsibility to act for the people of this country.
Ms. Dingell, thank you. And Mr. Chairman, I wanted to just let people know, and Congresswoman Dingell has talked about this, so have others, about the urgency of this. The Chairman Hatch and I met last week. We are asking, because of the House schedule and the Senate, and we're going to be, I think the Senate's going to be in session 2 or maybe 3 weeks in August. You will not be. I guess you guys are out next week. We're here then and then in August. But we have empowered our staffs, deputized our staffs to get serious about negotiations. The leadership staff of the committee, but also rank and file member staff. And then Chairman Hatch and I will reconvene in September, a bipartisan member meeting, and we hope to get close to real solutions in September as we move into the fall, when we know elections come and members are all over the place. So that's important.
I think that summarizes it pretty good. We still have Congressman Schweikert and then Senator Smith.
Could I say to both co-chairs before we go on, I will fly any place, anytime, and be a member of this committee. You can count on morning, noon, and night between now and November. I don't care about elections.
I know you well enough to know you will.
Yeah, I know you very well, and I know you'll do it.
Mr. Chairman, I think there are other members of the committee that'd be willing to come back,
That's right.
including myself.
We would, well, I mean, I don't want to speak for the Republicans, but we would come back to work with the Senate if we could get together, because I think it matters.
We're going to solve this problem, so we'll have
I trust you. I know you. You're right. We've known each other a long time.
We're going to solve it. It isn't going to be easy, and it's probably not going to please anybody, but we're going to solve it. And